Hello and welcome to another episode of Despite the Challenges, a show where we showcase people who, despite their impeding circumstances and challenges, they not only overcome and turn around their own lives, but they go out in the community and make a difference. As I had mentioned earlier, we are doing this special segment of series, uh, just a little bit diversion from our usual standard programs. We have here the two individuals from Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital from New Brunswick, the program director and a community health program director from Community Health Promotions, Mariam Merced, and Veronica Ortiz. She is the domestic violence outreach personnel, again, at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick, and we are continuing our series, the special series on the domestic violence awareness and education No Mass program, which was made possible by Avon Foundation grant. So this is the final interviews of our special series. Mariam and Veronica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us again.
Thank you.
All right, so let's see. We have covered in our past couple of segments a whole lot about this No Mass program. There are 3 tiers, as I understand. You know, one to reach out to Latina, the women, the New Brunswick and vicinity, to talk about domestic violence, sexual assault. Right? And then the second tier of this program is to reach out to the community leaders, professionals, first responders, churches, everyone else that we come across. So I'm sure that there has been an overwhelming response, and your work continues even though the project will be over. So tell us what's happening within the community, the feedback, the impact.
The third tier, like you said, is about bringing awareness and education to the entire community. And we chose the name Todas Somos Orquídea. We are all Orquídea because it's based on the experience that we had many years ago of an incident in town of a woman murdered by her husband. And at that time, we decided that we were going to take a collective approach of work to bring awareness and education to our community. And that situation, changed us in many ways. And the way we decided to go about it was doing the work and fighting back. And y en la lucha estamos. We are in the fight.
I think it's a good fight, and we need to continue that fight.
Absolutely.
Right. So, what are some of the things that you are hearing back from the community?
Yeah, so we've been receiving great positive feedback from the women. We have a survey at the end that we give to these women, and in the survey, a lot of what we're hearing is the fact that they are feeling more empowered as a woman, and they're learning that the victim is never to blame. They're learning that men and women deserve to be treated with equal respect. They're learning to the importance and the value of supporting one another, not just in good moments, but in the difficult moments as well. And they're also wanting to talk more with their children about what domestic violence consists of and what a healthy relationship should consist of. So it really is reinforcing the cultural Latino value of women helping women, and the fact that they're really there supporting one another, hearing each other's story, and then bringing it out to the larger community and providing the information that they learned.
So once you have that door open to them, there's a lot of information provided to them, and I'm sure it's not like in an instant response that just because they were in a workshop and they'll come out. Do you find that they confide to certain professionals, people, churches, or clergy to open up, or they are? It just depends. How do you see their cultural behavior I understand that there might be hesitation to reach out to the police, right? So,
But I think that, you know, when we go out and talk to women, we are doing educational programs that are culturally and linguistically appropriate, and we are in spaces where they feel safe. To talk. And we always remind them that this is a safe space to talk. I think people in the community has been surprised of the amount of work that has happened. This is coming a lot from a medical institution where you go to heal people, and not necessarily out in the other side of, you know, the prevention. So I think it has been a lot of good feedback from our community-based organizations that have partnered with us to make sure that everybody has a say, that everybody's informed of how can we better address these issues in the community. So the feedback, you know, we had the unveiling a couple of weeks ago, and we had more than 85 organizations show up to the courtyard at the hospital, and we're very impressed with the kind of work that we have. We have survivors talk, we have community leaders, we have hospital representatives that were there, and we have city officials talking about how can we better partner to serve our women.
85 organization is a large number, and we're talking about the Middlesex County or just the city of New Brunswick.
We are talking about the city of New Brunswick and the city of Perth Amboy. This grant is going to cover both cities because they are the largest cities with a high percentage of Hispanics living.
I see. And I know that we did touch about a little bit on the education for teachers, and especially, you know, reaching out to the younger population or the younger victims of the domestic violence. As we understand that there's so much national studies and data is available, the domestic violence, yes, is mostly a gender-based violence. You know, majority of the recipients are women. But there are men also who are victims, right? So does anywhere you find that you feel the need to open up that door for men who are victim of domestic violence?
Absolutely. Recently we attended a community fair, and we had both men and women coming up to our table, and when we talked about our initiative, there were men that were like, okay, well, what about us? You know, men could be victims too. And, you know, we definitely validated, absolutely, you are completely, you know, correct. And, you know, that although this initiative is focusing on Latina women, that we would be more than happy to come back and do a workshop, either co-ed or for men in particular. But we are seeing that men are interested in finding out more.
And there could be good intentions as well, that, okay, I don't like it myself, right? I want to stop it, but I don't know how. Right?
Or they could be, you know, people that have seen that their sister is a victim, that their mother is a victim, and that they also need the information. We cannot assume that everybody that comes is because they are
abuser.
Exactly.
Yes. So there is a big need there to open up the door to pretty much every part of the community, men, women as well. There is so much need, as I understand. I talked to different professionals, and the LGBT conversation that comes up, that domestic violence is just not limited to women only. And I understand that the objective for this project is women, especially the education and awareness of women. But the type of work you are doing when you reach out to the community, so the floodgate can open, right? You get more than what you anticipated. And I'm sure that there's a whole lot need out there than sometime we can estimate. In your approaches to when you go out, do some workshops, and I understand, again, for my viewers, I want to make sure that this project has an objective. That doesn't mean that it's only limited to women, right? What I would like to talk for a couple of minutes, that the need that you find within the community culturally, people may open up, or the LGBT issues that they are not opening up, or another underlying causes that become cause of the domestic violence. Do you find that in interacting with people who come to attend your workshops?
We have been doing that work from before doing the No Mas work. The original work that the coalition did was a lot of domestic violence 101 awareness that we did with the Adult Learning Center, the preschools, the housing secretary, and a lot of had to do with training about the basic information on domestic violence that also included the gay community and how this is across the board. It's not on one particular group or one particular sex. So we've been doing that kind of work. Of course, we are going to find everything when we open up a flyer and we send a flyer to every home in the school system. We're going to find all kinds of situations and all kinds of families. And we need to be prepared. We have been very fortunate to have in the coalition domestic violence awareness experts that have guided us to create educational programs that target everyone. And also to be able to educate other organizations on the dynamics of the domestic violence.
Yes. Well, at the end of the day, domestic violence is domestic violence, regardless of who is the recipient. So when we take into the broad the category of domestic violence and sexual assault, anyone could be targeted. Can we talk a little bit about the sexual violence that maybe in case of domestic violence, as the name suggests, that it would be someone living in the same household experiences violence. Sexual assault can happen to anyone. It may or may not be the family member, may be known or unknown person. Do you find that there is a lot of stigma among people to report that?
Yeah, I feel like there is a stigma, whether it's domestic violence or sexual assault. And I think that that's one of the things that we're trying to target within this workshop, within this initiative, is that, we're really trying to bring these issues out of the shadow and into the light. Like, these are discussions that need to be had in order to, knowledge is power. So the more information that you have about the topic, the more options that you have, the more that you're willing to move forward and to make more informed decisions. So, yeah.
I think that one of them is that, we bring to the table in doing this workshop is that sexual assault can happen within the marriage. And that is something that our women are not aware.
I think this is a big myth.
And this is something we discuss with them as part of the educational program. And you see that, you see their faces for the first time realizing that I thought it was something wrong, but I wasn't sure. So I think that this is one of the areas that we bring to the table, that they are for the first time listening that this should not be happening to you, not even if you're married to a person. That no is no.
No is no. I see. And I'm sure that this would continue beyond the project's end dates. This is a very crucial initiative and a topic to discuss over and over with the communities. There's more part of the community that sometimes they are not as obvious to us, but somehow they contribute in a good way. I would like to ask you how, when you go out to churches or houses of worship, the perception that you are getting as your program and the platform they have allowed you.
So the work with the churches has been an ongoing process. Many of our pastors and priests didn't have a lot of information regarding domestic violence and really didn't know how to address that within the context of the church if the two of them were members of the church.
Yes.
They did not have the skills to recognize the red flags, and through a lot of education and awareness, we have been able to train many of our church pastors. Our original work was to get into the churches and train a lot of our clergy and our lay people, your deacons and your elders, because there's very specific things that happen in a church when the couple are members of the church, and many times the clergy thinks and the deacons that what they need is marriage counselor, but actually we could put women at risk if we start doing, because this is a relation that is on not equal. So we need to make sure that the pastor understands and the deacons understand that this information that the women is giving to them has to be kept in secret, and that she needs to get the resources and the information before they contact the men in the church. So it's been a long struggle. We have some resources that we have acquired over the years of how to better serve women that are at church, and their partners right there with them at the church.
I think this is very valuable to, to address that, especially for our viewers who are watching it. And I want to make a point that not if, if the impression is that they need marriage counseling, it may not be the case. It further puts them on risk. So there has to be a better approach, maybe some confidential way to pass this information on to her, ask the right questions, and what those right questions should be, right? Get a little bit more information before we label them.
And as part of our sessions too, especially in the Latino culture, the fact that religion is super key and important. So we definitely acknowledge that, you make a vow before God, and you make a vow to stay through the good and the bad. And so then we really try to tell them that there are some clergy that really truly understands domestic violence, and that they see that the abuser is the one that breaks the vow first, the moment he lays
Very
his
important.
hands. Yes. And so therefore, if she were to get divorced, since divorce is seen as unacceptable, but if she were to get divorced, it's okay, because she's not the one to have broken the covenant first. The abuser was.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an important step for the women. Most often in some other cultures as well, is a marriage is a vow for lifetime.
Yeah.
And because of the abuse, if woman takes a step to leave the relation, she's breaking that vow, and that keeps them into the situation. So having that understanding, and we are living in 21st century, no one should live with an abuse, right? So I think the work that this project had taken you out there to do, and as you mentioned, that this has been going on for many years with the local communities and with these healthcare initiatives, etc. I think I'm really surprised and amazed in a good ways, surprised that you have so much community collaboration coming into it. You mentioned 85 organization on the unveiling ceremony. That's a huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah, I feel like it shouldn't be about competing with one another. It really is about
coming together.
Community together is key, not only with the community organizations, but coming together with the community members as well. So like we ask for these Latina women, we ask for their feedback, because we find that their feedback is very, very valuable. So we are more than willing to reconstruct parts of our curriculum in order to better serve their needs.
Their needs.
Exactly.
That's specific to the cultural mindset as well as to the community. I know that there is so much more to talk about, but I want to ask you, both of you, if you would like to, if there is some message that you want to share with our viewers and I'm welcome to share that message both in English and Spanish. You know, please do so.
So, yo quiero decir que la violencia doméstica no tiene lugar en nuestra comunidad. I want to say that domestic violence has no place in our community and that there's help out there. Hay ayuda y busquen esa ayuda. Go out and look for help.
And
Thank
I
you.
think, you know, the one thing that I want to leave off with is with one of the feedback responses that we received is the fact that we shouldn't live a life of fear, but of love and happiness. And I think that is so empowering.
It is. It is. Well, my thoughts are that domestic violence is not a women's issue, it's not men's issue, and it is society's issue. And we need to come together as a society to deal with it. And I really thank you for giving me an opportunity to have this special series and being part of this program. And I wish you a lot of luck and hope that communities in Perth Amboy and New Brunswick would benefit not only just the duration of the program, but for long time to come. And thank you so much for doing this great work.
And thank you for inviting us to tell our story.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you to the Avon Foundation for allowing this to happen.
Thank you again. And for our viewers, there's going to be a lot of information available on the Facebook pages. There would be in month of October, we have a coalition march. That information would be available on the Facebook page. And please look for the tags that we would be displaying. You can come and join us, be part of this initiative, help out, reach out to community, help who you can. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact any of these professionals. Thank you for joining us and being part of this special series. I am host Ritu Chopra. Until next time, thank you for watching.